Hello and welcome. For those of you that don't know, my name's Faye McGill and I'm the Deputy Director of Thames Gateway Teaching School. And we're here tonight with Nicola Taylor, who's Director of Programmes for ELSI, to talk through what the NPQ Leading Behaviour and Culture looks like. So this is going to be a really short video. We're hoping for about 5 minutes just to give you a quick overview of whether the course is for you and what it covers. So thank you for joining us, Nicola. It's going to be a bit quick fire. So I'll start with the first question. Who is Leading Behaviour and Culture aimed at?
So Leading Behaviour and Culture is aimed at those people who are working at a middle or senior leader level who are interested in and have some responsibility for whole school culture, well-being and student behaviour.
Lovely, thank you. And we know that part of the new suite of NPQs is really focusing on evidence and research-based learning. So can you tell us a little bit about the course content?
Absolutely. So if you choose to study your NPQ LBC with Thames Gateway Teaching School Hub and ELSI, we split the content of the course, so that's the content of the framework, into 3 separate modules. First module looks specifically at teaching and contributing to whole school culture. The second module focuses very much on enabling the conditions for good behaviour. The third module looks at managing complex behavioural needs, and then running across all 3 modules, we have the strands of professional development and implementation, so that you can really look at practical examples of how you put into practice some of that evidence-based learning, whether that's from research from published journals and books, or whether that's research coming out of the Education Endowment Foundation as well.
Thank you. And you talked there about modules. Can you just tell us a little bit about what each module consists in terms of the delivery of the course, and also a little bit about the time commitment for participants?
Absolutely. So the whole course is 12 months in its entirety, with a 3-month assessment window following the delivery of the course. Each of the modules that we offer lasts for 12 weeks. And for each one of those 12 weeks, there are a number of different activities. So in any given week, you might be asked to engage with some online learning. And that will take the form of some reading. It could be watching some video material. It could be listening to some podcast material, or a combination of all 3 of those, with the opportunity to complete an online learning journal reflection. So that'll be a couple of activities that we ask you to engage with, and then you write up your reflections on those activities as part of our online platform. Or we might ask you to engage in a discussion forum activity, which requires you to post your ideas, but also then reflect on and comment on the ideas of other people who are studying the LBC qualification, but they could be anywhere in the world. So our courses are open to people internationally, as well as within England and the wider UK. And it's really that opportunity to engage with a professional community around some of those ideas. So it could be some online learning that you're asked to do in those 12 weeks. We also have, for each module, so within those 12 weeks, there'll be a face-to-face workshop where you'll come together with all of the people that are part of your cohort. You'll be joined by 2 experienced facilitators who will take you through a series of activities that really give you an opportunity to look in depth at a particular area of the curriculum. And then we also have 2 webinar activities. So those are 90-minute online live sessions, again with the same 2 facilitators who will support you to look in detail at some of those ideas and explore them in a bit more depth. So that you've got that opportunity again to meet with your colleagues that are part of your cohort, and to work in groups and to really reflect together on the nature of the practice that you've been studying.
Perfect. And you mentioned a little bit about assessment there. Can you just tell us what the final assessment is in order to be able to pass the course?
Absolutely. So at the end of your LBC 3 modules, there is a 3-month assessment window. And within that assessment window, there's an 8-day period when you will be presented with and able to access via our online platform a case study of a fictional school. And that case study is around about 1,500 words in length. So it's not pages and pages and pages to read through, but that'll give you a flavour for what that school is facing as a particular set of challenges. So you might have an extract from an Ofsted report, you might have a staffing structure, an extract from a policy, some stakeholder views and opinions. And you'll be asked to complete 3 questions in relation to that case study. So you'll be asked to identify a problem that you can see that the school is experiencing. You'll be asked to justify why that is a problem using evidence from that case study. And then the second question asks you to identify a solution to that problem, drawing on the evidence that you've looked at as part of your online learning and your face-to-face and webinars. And then the final element, the third question, asks you to talk through how you would implement that solution with reference to the Education Endowment Foundation implementation cycle. And I should mention at this point that one of the advantages of studying with ELSI is that throughout that 12-week programme for each of the modules, as well as being supported by your 2 facilitators, you'll also have the opportunity to discuss particular ideas and themes with your in-school coach. So we make sure that you have somebody in the school that you're working in that can also support you to implement some of those ideas, reflect on how they fit with your particular context, and support you to be as ready as possible for that final case study and that final assessment when you take on that fictional school and look to solve their problems.
Thank you. And just lastly from me then, can you tell us a little bit about the cost of the courses?
So if you're teaching in a mainstream school in England, there are details about the scholarship funding that is available to you. And that's on our website, so llse.org.uk. Take yourself through to the NPQ pages and it gives full details about those schools that will be eligible for scholarship funding, which would mean that the entire cost of your course is funded by the Department for Education. If you're not funded by the Department for Education for the NPQs, then there is a cost of around about £1,000 to undertake the LBC qualification. There is just an extra little incentive if you're from a small school. So if you're from a school that is eligible for the small school funding, which is schools that are usually fewer than 600 pupils, there is an additional £200 that your school will receive for each